Because you have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight. Crawford, who couldn't push back Madrimov. Life and death with Madrimov. What do you think Canelo's gonna do to him? Run him out of the ring. You know what's laughable also? Dana White being named the promoter of this fight, considering he's never been in the boxing space. Has no stable of boxers. He didn't negotiate. And is being handed this fight on a silver platter and called promoter. He's the trust fund baby of boxing. That's it. The trust fund baby of boxing.
The heat is back, and Oscar De La Hoya is turning it up. Oscar De La Hoya mocks Canelo, saying he'll run Crawford out of the ring after he barely survived Madrimov. He also slams Dana White for landing the biggest fight with 0 credentials. Oscar De La Hoya has unleashed a storm of accusations, calling out the corrupt silence of boxing media in ignoring repeated performance-enhancing drug (PED) violations. He alleges that multiple fighters under trainer Eddie Reynoso, including Canelo Alvarez, have tested positive for banned substances at least 6 times, yet nothing has been done. Meanwhile, someone like Ryan Garcia, a younger, less powerful figure in the sport, gets publicly crucified for a failed test. Oscar mocks the media's hypocrisy and even laughs off the idea of a Canelo versus Crawford bout, claiming it's completely mismatched due to weight and power differences.
Well, I actually did some digging and confirmed many members of the boxing media have been paid off by certain people and essentially muzzled. I mean, these are the facts. For example, 6 of Eddie Reynoso's fighters have tested positive for PEDs. Where's the boxing media? I mean, they crucified Ryan Garcia every fucking day for a full year over a tiny bit of Austrian. So why are they so quiet now? I don't know, man, but when something stinks, it's usually shit. I'm so disappointed, man, in the media, who I've treated like gold for 30 years. I didn't realize you guys could be bought that easily. Now, what the media is reporting, and it's circulating, is that Canelo Crawford is the biggest fight of the decade. I mean, to a purist and a fighter, it's laughable. Because you have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight.
He doesn't stop with just the fighters. Oscar is targeting the entire promotional system. He claims Dana White, now entering boxing through TKO Group, is exploiting Mexican Independence Weekend for his gain. Canelo's next bout is scheduled for Friday daytime, not for a cultural celebration, but to avoid a scheduling conflict with UFC's Noche card the next night. De La Hoya sees this as a direct attack on boxing's pride and warns that fight fans are being manipulated by big money networks, not respected as loyal supporters of the sport.
Dana White being named the promoter of this fight, considering he's never been in the boxing space. Has no stable of boxers. He didn't negotiate shit. And is being handed this fight on a silver platter and called promoter. He's the trust fund baby of boxing. That's it. The trust fund baby of boxing. And get this. The fight will take place during the day on September 13th in Las Vegas. During the day. So Canelo will fight during the day on Netflix just to accommodate UFC Noche later that evening on a different network. So does that mean this fight isn't important? Do they not give a fuck about the fans or viewership? Why is it that Canelo has to fight during the day on Mexican Independence Weekend? And UFC with a roster of names I've never heard of is going on prime time.
Turning up the heat, Oscar said, "You're the proud face of this fight funded by Turki Al-Sheikh, but this is a clown show. You'd get trashed for faking expertise in another sport, just like I would in the UFC. Insiders know the UFC is drowning in debt. It's truly embarrassing."
Oh, but now that Daddy Turki negotiated a big fight and he paid for it, you're seriously proud to be the trust fund kid presenting to be the face of this fight. I mean, this whole thing's a shit show. Aren't you embarrassed? I mean, it would be just like me promoting John Jones versus somebody else in the UFC. You guys would fucking destroy me for me walking into another sport and acting like I know the fuck I'm doing.
Oscar further said, "That's no reason to switch sports and leave MMA fighters hanging, Dana. Don't abandon the fans who've been begging for a great UFC fight for months. And don't even think about bringing your pathetic pay scale to boxing."
But that's no reason to switch sports and leave these MMA fighters hanging, Dana. And don't abandon the fans. They've been begging you for months now to make a great fight in the UFC. Oh, and don't even think of bringing your pathetic pay scale to boxing.
Adding on, Oscar claimed fighters won't go for it, stating that despite boxing media hype, TKO has no fighters. He then affirmed his commitment to unfiltered honesty, always providing facts and keeping it real. Oscar also expressed satisfaction in his interactions with Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman, indicating their continued presence.
The boxing media is trying so hard to hype up TKO getting into the boxing space, but the truth is they have no fucking fighters. They have 0 fighters. TKO? More like TK no. Oh, and guess what? Nobody will ever put a muzzle on me. I'll always give you the facts and keep it real. And I've never been happier to trade calls with Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman, because guess what?
Then there's Canelo's cherry picking. De La Hoya is furious. He said, despite claiming he doesn't like to fight runners, Canelo keeps choosing safe opponents with little risk. He avoids thrilling wars the fans crave, like a long-anticipated showdown with David Benavidez. According to Oscar, it's clear Canelo is more focused on preserving his legacy than actually testing it in meaningful, high-stakes fights.
Canelo, Jesus Lord, come on. You're getting paid all this money to fight against a runner who we all knew was gonna run, the Cuban style. You chose him, and now you say you hate fighting runners? Well then, don't fight runners. We all know who we want to see you win against. That's Benavidez. Go up against Benavidez. Fight Benavidez, he won't run. What's wrong with that? It's a good fight. But it's sad. It really is.
Oscar De La Hoya reignited his long-standing rivalry. 1 year ago, he took a jab at Canelo, saying the September 14th fight with Edgar Berlanga was a matchup nobody asked for. Fans were already turning their backs on Canelo for ducking you-know-who. And to make things worse, the fight was scheduled against a massive UFC event at the Sphere. Oscar mocked, "Good luck making a splash with that one."
The September 14th fight has been made. Canelo Alvarez, Edgar Berlanga. A fight that nobody asked for. Fans are now starting to boycott Canelo for continuing to duck you-know-who. Also, they're going up against the UFC at the Sphere. Ooh, good luck with making a splash with that one.
Canelo, of course, fired back. He dismissed De La Hoya's attacks as old, bitter noise, calling it just another case of Oscar throwing grenades for attention. He accused Oscar of abandoning him, and fighters like Jaime Munguia saying the Golden Boy founder is now desperate to stay relevant. Canelo insists that any criticism from Oscar is rooted in jealousy and irrelevance, not truth.
Did you expect something from Oscar? Did you expect that he was going to come throwing grenades?
You can expect from Oscar, you can expect anything like that. He's just throw shit in for his mouth. He don't know anything about being promoted their fighter or care about their fighter. They always leave their fighters when they need him. In the biggest stage, he leave their fighters. He don't care about his fighter. The attention is for Munguia, and he don't care. He want the attention, all the attention. You know, you saw yesterday, but it's nothing surprised me from him.
But Oscar's not alone in calling out bias. Floyd Mayweather jumped in, praising Canelo's technical growth, but slamming the media for ignoring talent like Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford. Mayweather said stars like Gervonta Tank Davis are often disrespected, not because of merit, but because of their associations, and he made it clear that he'll always defend the underappreciated, regardless of politics or promotion.
I like Canelo. I mean, I like his work, but we're forgetting about Boost. What kid? Boost Ennis.
Yes.
Hell of a fighter. We don't talk about him. You know, Errol Spence go through some ups and downs throughout life, tragedies, and he still get through it all. And then a guy go out and Terrence Crawford, he go out there and do what he's supposed to do. Of course, he looked good, but we forget about these guys. We don't talk about Tank go out there and do what he got to do, and we forget about these guys. And I'm not going to forget about my people, fighters that don't get their credit. You know, I'm just going to stand behind my people through it all. You know, it's so crazy that I'm so proud of Tank as a fighter. I love him, I love his team, I want the best for him, but it's so crazy how y'all, media, always shit on him, talk bad about him, and it's so bad that they do this just because of me. And I honestly feel like that's fucked up, just that they do this to this kid. He go out there, he fight, he win, he do it in impressive fashion. You got guys like Oscar.
Then came Floyd's knockout verbal blow to Canelo. Steroids, yet no one dares to speak on it. He questioned the legitimacy of Canelo's rise and hinted that there might be more to his success than skill. Mayweather referenced questionable performances from as far back as 2015, suggesting that mainstream boxing media plays favorites and ignores red flags when it suits their narratives.
You know, but what we don't talk about is, you know, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we really don't know all the fighters he beat. And he was what he could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
Do you think he was clean the night he fought?
I'm saying, I don't know. I don't know. That's y'all. This Canelo. Come on, man. That kid was a cakewalk. Kid, easy.
You named 5 fighters right there. What's your pound for pound list?
I mean, I ain't gotta rate these guys pound for pound. I ain't gotta rate. I don't got to rate.
In a twist, Leonard Ellerbe praised Canelo as potentially the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, citing his growth since losing to Mayweather. However, even Ellerbe couldn't resist throwing shade at De La Hoya. He emphasized that while Canelo and he may not always agree, they are united in their dislike for Oscar, showing that the personal rivalries are as intense as the professional ones.
You know, we're really cool. We're really cool and have a good, cool relationship. Again, and we on the same page. We're on the same page. You know, we both don't like that motherfucker. You know, we have that definitely in common, and amongst other things. I think he's a great fighter, and he's learned so much since the Floyd loss, and he's, you know, become, you know, a icon in boxing, and you know, he's, in my opinion, probably the greatest Mexican fighter ever. But we definitely have one thing in common: we don't like that motherfucking Oscar De La Hoya.
Still, Oscar kept firing. He denounced Canelo's $200 million price tag to fight Benavidez as pure avoidance. According to him, Turki Al-Sheikh is doing his best to bring the biggest fights to life, but Canelo keeps sabotaging that vision. De La Hoya claims this behavior not only insults Turki's efforts, but also cheats the fans, who deserve real competition, not hand-picked opponents.
Why can you not give us Canelo Benavidez? Why? Canelo, why?
I do not understand it. You're demanding $200 million? Like, so basically Canelo doesn't want to give us the good fights. When you have Turki, who is making the best fights, who literally wants to make the best fights, and he's forking over the bill, be my guest. Please, make more. It's great for boxing. He's literally saving boxing, and this is what I've been talking about all along. He's a savior to the sport. He has deep pockets, obviously, and he wants to make the best fights happen. Canelo, don't screw it up for us.
Canelo clapped back again, saying Oscar owes everything to him. According to Canelo, it was his rise under Golden Boy that gave the company any footing in American boxing. Now that Canelo's gone, Oscar is left bitter and desperate for relevance. But Oscar isn't done. He keeps hammering home the PED angle, questioning why Canelo continues to avoid full transparency.
Y para este imbécil intento de gente que tengo aquí a mi izquierda, que no se le olvide que yo ya vine siendo el Canelo a Estados Unidos. Y que solamente lucró con mi nombre. Nunca perdió un solo centavo, sino nomás ganó dinero.
Meanwhile, Ariel Helwani has thrown gasoline on the fire, claiming that Dana White and TKO are attempting to rebuild boxing from the ground up. They're reportedly bypassing traditional sanctioning bodies like the WBC and IBF to create their own league and belt system, and may even bring fights to Netflix. With Turkey's billions behind them, this could revolutionize the sport forever.
1 second, the promotions you've been working with, as in Queensbury and Matchroom and Golden Boy and Top Rank, like what does that mean? I find it interesting. I find it puzzling.
What's puzzling?
What does it mean? Does it mean, okay, does it almost mean kind of what PBC tried to do, where they were trying to create a PBC belt and they tried to sign every single fighter, and they very well nearly exceeded in doing so? Does this mean that he's trying to literally take over the sport of boxing? So all the fighters, all of them are in this league. Do fighters immediately start jumping ship and signing to him? Because to be fair, we're in a world of boxing now where no fighter has an 8-fight contract anymore.
Yeah.
Most fighters are kind of fight-by-fight contracts. I mean, does Shakur Stevenson, who's only got 1 fight left with Matchroom, after that fight, does he go and join this TKO Promotions? What does it mean for Eddie? What does it mean for Frank? Are they now on the phone with each other now saying, okay, we're not accepting this, we have to fight back?
Right.
Or do they jump in bed with it? I find the whole thing.
There's certainly a lot of questions.
There is.
But here's what I know for sure.
Okay.
What I know for sure is they're going to put on these 4 mega events over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And the first one could very well be Canelo Crawford. And so now we get a little more insight as to why they were fighting so hard to not have Canelo fight Jake Paul. There's a history there with the TKO guys and Jake Paul and Nikisa Badarian. No. You're not going to go fight Jake Paul and then fight for us.
100%.
We'll add another fight to the deal. You'll fight William Skull May 3rd in Riyadh, and then you'll fight for us at Allegiant Stadium. That will be maybe like their first entry. But in addition to that, they're going to have this promotion, this league as they're calling it, where they're going to sign fighters kind of from the ground up. You know, the Keyshawn Davis's post-Olympics, the Pat Brown's post-Olympics.
Do you think that's what they're going to do?
Yes, I know that's what they're going to do.
So you don't think they're signing established fighters?
It's a mix. But you know how they keep promoting this guy, King Callum Walsh?
Yeah.
Which the boxing establishment says this guy ain't really the man, right? But those are the types of guys that they're going to sign, try to build up. They'll populate the mega cards with these guys and hope that if you're tuning in to watch Canelo Crawford perhaps on a Netflix and you happen to see a King Callum Walsh fight, then you'll follow him to the league. But now here's where it gets seismic. That's just an idea, that's a concept like PBC. This is where it gets seismic. They're not playing with WBC and IBF and IBO and WBA and WBO. They're not playing with these guys anymore. Yeah. Dana said it himself. Our belts don't have the 3 letters attached to it. Now, it'll be their 3 letters. This is gigantic. Dana's always talked about getting into boxing, and that was going to be big. But when you think about TKO as an entity teaming up with Turki to do this, who has endless funds, pockets as deep as anything.
Oddly enough, Oscar attended UFC Noche and gave it props. He applauded the production and said the show was electric, but he didn't hold back on Dana White, calling him a glorified errand boy for the Fertitta brothers. According to Oscar, Dana has never built anything himself, just rode the coattails of bigger visionaries.
Okay guys, so UFC Noche. So I was true to my word. I did attend last Saturday. I sat in Turkey's box upstairs, And I have to be honest with you, it was beautiful. It was spectacular. It looked really cool. The production value was there. Everything was amazing. The fights were actually really good. So congratulations to Turki for footing the bill on this and making his celebration of the Mexican culture come to life. And Dana, I know this wasn't your idea or vision. Nothing ever is at the UFC. You're the Fertitta's errand boy. But I'm always honest and fair, and I want to praise the production. UFC Noche was a good time, and I really enjoyed it.
Dana, never one to stay silent, responded with brutal humor. He confirmed Oscar was part of the tribute video played during UFC Noche, but called him a lunatic with fake abs. He acknowledged Oscar's success in the ring, but dismissed his post-retirement career as a series of public stunts and flops.
Yeah, he was in the video. Okay. He was in the video. He's an asshole, but you can't deny what he did. I mean, the guy, you know what I mean? He's a fucking lunatic. But he was a bad boy in his day before he got his fake abs. Yeah, he used to have real abs.
Still, Dana gave credit where it was due. He hailed Canelo as the undisputed king of boxing, someone who brings in massive numbers and delivers in the ring. Canelo's $40 million per fight earnings, he said, are well deserved. But even Dana threw in a jab, making it clear that Oscar is working with Turki, not with him, suggesting Oscar is simply chasing the biggest wallet.
People talk shit and say whatever they want to say, but look at Canelo. Canelo is still the man.
Yes.
You know?
He's been for a long, long time.
And he jumps in there and he does it and he goes to work, and it's hard to stay at that level for a very long time. And Canelo's another guy. I mean, what's this guy clipping 40 mil a fight?
Well, I got that call today. He's coming with Sheikh Turki. He's part of his ticket block. I knew he wasn't part of my ticket block, that's for damn sure. Oscar does things that are good for Oscar at the moment.
Finally, Jermall Charlo chimed in, reigniting the debate around Canelo's failed drug test years ago. He questioned the infamous tainted meat excuse, hinting that microdosing PEDs may be more common than we know. Charlo's comments echoed De La Hoya's and Mayweather's, reinforcing the idea that Canelo's clean image may be just an illusion, and boxing's refusal to investigate only fuels the suspicion.
Y'all think Canelo haven't been taking Clinton Bruderol for a long ass time? Y'all think he ain't back on that shit? Or y'all think it was just in the state? Because I go to Mexico all the time. I'm from Houston, from Texas. I'm in Mexico all the time eating steak. I ain't never got popped for no shit. Think about it.
You think these guys are microdosing steroids?
They microdosing it. They're look, no excuse. I'm not trying to put nobody out there. This don't got this not just boxing. This is a lot of athletes all over the world. They make the drug right there to the line of like disqualification, but they don't surpass it. So they're not getting caught for it. A lot of these fighters on all kind of shit.
Canelo Alvarez continues to dominate headlines as accusations, rivalries, and power struggles shake the foundation of modern boxing, with Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, and others exposing the cracks behind the glamour. The fight game is entering a new explosive chapter. Behind-the-scenes politics, drug suspicions, and media manipulation are colliding with billion-dollar ambitions. The future of boxing is being reshaped far beyond the ropes. Stay tuned for more hard-hitting truths from the front lines of combat sports. Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.